As if brick and mortar stores don't have enough challenges in keeping up with online competition and hiring people, now the shoplifting crisis is nationwide. Dr. Alex Del Carmen is a crime prevention expert and good friend of the show. And Dr. Del Carmen joins Wendy and me now on the phone. How are you doing, Alex? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. How bad is this? It seems like we're reading about the problem everywhere in the nation.
Yeah, I think our economy is at such levels right now, and sadly, the level of delinquency is at such level that we're finding that stores are now trying to secure things that in the past they would have never worried about, because part of it is lack of law enforcement presence. Part of it is also the fact that prosecutors in some places are just basically failing to do their job. And then lastly, I think that people have a general sense of insecurity, which I don't blame them.
And you know what's so surprising, and I think almost everybody you talk to has an anecdote, of some sort. We've seen the footage from the high-end stores, on the West Coast. It's happened here in St. Louis, where the shoplifters, if you will go in and just smash and grab. And it seems that the retailers are taking the approach that the lives of our employees are much more important than any luxury bag. Is there a downside? Is there a downside to that? In other words, the thieves know now that they're pretty much in the clear.
Yeah, and I think, look, there's a downside to it in the sense that obviously if you're a criminal, you're going to look at that and say, gee, I've got permission now to go do whatever I want. But on the other hand, from an insurance perspective, I think what's happening is a lot of these retailers basically felt that it's going to endanger, first of all, the lives of the employees to put them in the line of fire, so to speak, when you've got people coming in to steal a pair of pants or to steal a shirt, and they're armed, or they may have somebody outside that's armed, and that may, consequently end up killing somebody at the store. And so they figure that the liability is much greater by doing that. And then secondly, once again, look, the response times that law enforcement is having to face right now because of the shortage of personnel, they're astronomical. In some cities, they're as much as 8 to 10 minutes to respond to a priority one call, which are the ones that are absolutely, required, imminent presence of police required. And so given all of that, 8 minutes is a long time for somebody to get hurt. So I think that's part of I'm not saying that it's right for the stores to do that, but I think it's a reality that they're facing today.
Dr. Del Carmen, do you consult with any of these businesses, and what would you suggest they do?
I consult with businesses as it relates to crime prevention, and I will tell you that what I've told them in the past is that we basically have to make the target harder, that if you've got 8 to 10 minutes of elapsed time between the time that a thief or a criminal shows up at the store and the time that law enforcement would actually arrive, that you have to make that target very, very much difficult for that individual to penetrate. What I mean by that is you move in terms of retail stores, you move the very high priced items, you move them away from the front door, you move them to a place where they would have to sort of work hard to be able to get to. You make sure that they're chained and they're secured, that the cameras are on, that you have the physical deterrence of security guards at the front entrances. And I think that there are a lot of things like that we can do in order to try, and I underscore try, to prevent the criminal element from being there, but there are no guarantees in this business.
If you are a shopper who is completely unaware of your surroundings, as I think most shoppers are, we don't think in terms of being threatened when we go into stores. Alex, what would you say to just your basic garden variety shopper in 2023?
First of all, change that habit and be aware of your surroundings, because I think that even though you don't want to spoil the fun of going somewhere and having some recreational time, I think it is very, very much a necessity today to be aware of your surroundings, because you never know when something like this is going to happen. Secondly, if you do see something in the context of somebody stealing or somebody showing up with an arm, with a weapon, we always tell people, look, just get away from it. Try to go away from it. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to intervene, because ultimately you have no idea who else is there at the store with that person. You have no idea what that person is capable of doing. And so the last thing that you want to do is get between yourself and a product that they're trying to steal and end your life, right? And the life of a loved one. So I would say, you have to be aware. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We live in a different time in the United States than we did prior to the pandemic. And this is a post-pandemic reality that unfortunately generations to come are going to have to live with.
Dr. Alex Del Carmen is a criminologist and a good friend of our show. Dr. Del Carmen, thank you so much for chatting with us again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.